Loud. Hey everybody, this is Anshi and this is Community Restorative. We are focusing on the upper body today. You'll need, as usual, um, 3 blankets, 2 balls, and then today you'll also have an option of using a chair towards the end and in one pose. So if you would like to have that ready, we can get started. So the first position is we're going to massage out the suboccipitals, some of the parts of the upper SCM, and some of the jaw muscles. So you can first just be in neutral without the block and just kind of check in and notice how your neck is feeling right here. Notice the alignment of your head and just how it's placed on the floor. Notice the contact of your scapula. And then also how the back of your ribs are touching the floor here, to your middle back area. Then connect the upper body to the lower body by sensing your spine. So all the way from your neck down through your middle back, into your low back, into your sacrum. What can you feel about the central channel right now? And what is the overall felt sense to your body this afternoon? And then watch how your breath moves through you right now. The bloom of your inhalation, where does it start from? And the contraction of your exhale, that soft, receding quality of your exhale, where do you feel that movement? How do you characterize your breathing right here? And watching your mental space, your emotional space as well. What are these aspects of yourself? What is your intention for practicing? What brought you to the mat? Your intention is an inquiry, a sentence, a word, connecting with your intention by repeating it. Then you can grab your yoga block and place your head on the block. And you can keep the balls in the tote if you have the role model method balls. If you have 2, regular balls, you could grab a long sock and put in the long sock so that you have them together. And we're placing the balls across underneath the occiput, so that ridge, that border between your skull and your neck. And You want to hinge that ridge on the balls so that there's a sense that your neck muscles are being stretched along here. And then once you are in that position, just take a breath and feel what's going on in these sub-occipitals. And we'll try to elongate through that by coming into a deeper C curve. So you can take your hands behind your head and you can try to guide your head gently forward. And as you do that, tilt your tailbone. So tuck your tail so that your tailbone rises away from the floor. So you're trying to curl your spine into a big C curve. And then release your head's weight into the balls more so it stretches through those muscles more. Take a breath here in the C curve. And then slowly release your tail and release your head towards the ball more. And then you can gently let the balls roll down and let your head tilt back. So we're coming into neck flexion, neck extension. And then you can do that again. So tilting your head forward, you can gently guide and then tucking your tail and trying to curl yourself into a big C with your spine. And then release the weight of your neck into the ball, the weight of your head to deepen that pressure. Take a breath here. And then uncurl your tail. You can arch your low back, and then you can let your head move back on the ball. You can even make little wiggles here. And then explore between the C curve and then between dropping the head back. And I'm using my hands to guide so that I can come into a deeper ring, but also so that my neck muscles can be more passive. The next time when your head is back, try to release the head. You might have to move the balls down your neck a little bit more so that part of your head touches the block. And then you could just, kind of be in the relaxed position here. And you could side bend a little bit to the right and side bend a little bit to the left. So part of the side, the transverse processes are going to bump against the walls. And then come back and let your head rise back up and reposition the balls so that they are on that occipital ridge again. Start to add in the windshield wipers and let your head turn along with your windshield wipers. Then next time when you have your knees over to the right side, you can lift your left arm and turn your head more to the right. It's going to just put the pressure only on one spot. And then you could stay here and nod your head up and down. And the arm position increases the weight. So you can lower the arm and it can decrease the weight. So right here, we're rubbing into some of the attachment sites of the big ropey side neck muscle, the SCM. And then you could switch, dropping your knees over to the left. You can turn with your head and lift that right arm to the left. And adjust the ball so that you feel it on that kind of bony ridge out to the side with your ear, and then nod your head yes. You could even nod no. So rub it out by making little movements from your neck. And then come on back to center. We'll remove the balls. And you could just take a moment and feel the first sequence here in the upper body. And we'll take the balls, or one ball out next. So actually, let's do it two balls together so we can give ourselves a face lift as well as a little mandible masseter massage. So you're placing the balls right on the side of the face by the jaw, and you're pushing the balls up and letting it just roll up to your temples. It feels better if your balls are a little bit softer. And then obviously it feels better if you have rubber balls rather than tennis balls. The rubber surface grips on the skin and moves the skin a little bit. So rolling the ball up only from the jaw through the temples. And you can, I'm going towards my ear, on my ear as well. That feels good. Temples. And then you can park the balls right on the masseter. So you can palpate and feel that jaw muscle by opening and closing to make sure that you've got it. And then you could, again, put the balls there and twist the tissue. And then try to open and close your mouth. And then twist the tissue the other way. And open and close. And then keep twisting around the masseter to basically break up any adhesions in the superficial tissue, as well as improve circulation. You could stay here, so it's super sensitive. You could just do this kind of like manual rolling business. You want more pressure, we'll start on the right. You can move your head a little bit more to the left, put the right ball on the block, and then you can lean over towards that side. And then I have some of my head on the block because that feels better for me. But if you're like, I want more pressure, you could roll so that your head is completely just balanced on the ball. And then you can nod. Yes. No. Make your fish faces, opening, closing the mouth. So this is a great sequence for TMJ, teeth grinding, any kind of tension here. And then the next point you could do is just gently massaging on the temples. You can start with less pressure with the hands. If you're up for it, you could balance on that temporalis bone, and you could rub around like right above the ear as well. So, yeah, surprising how much tension there is there. Okay. And we'll release this side. And then you can switch balls if you want to rotate your balls. And we'll do that masseter massage with the head balancing on the ball, so a little bit more weight. So lean your left jaw into the ball. You can balance with some of your head on the block or all of your head's weight on the wall, your choice. And explore, nodding yes, no, contracting and releasing that muscle. Then move up towards the temple and then a little bit more posterior towards that bony ridge of the bone. So rub out first really gently with the ball. And then if you feel like, oh, I want more pressure, you can go up and balance your head on that part of your skull and rub out. It's kind of like above the earlobe. Release back to center, and you can pull the block out and land your head back to neutral. Notice how your head feels or your neck feels here. And then the last place that we'll get here is up in the upper traps. So you can put one wall on either side of your upper back, right where the strap of your tank top would be. You want to nuzzle the balls in. And take some breaths here so that you can feel the breath mobilizing the tissues into the ball. And then lift your arms up. And you could do movements with your arms. So maybe swaying side to side first. You can let your head move with the arms. You can also lift the arms upward, and that's going to put pressure there. You can do circular movements, like seaweed movements under the floor of the ocean, rubbing the upper traps, upper back into the balls. And I'm adding in a little bit of a side bend motion like this to let the balls roll up and down in that area. For more pressure, you can put your hips up, your sacrum up on a block. And that's going to drive more pressure. If you want to, you could also lift your hips up and create a little rolling action. This. Or you could stay tased and just breathe in stillness. For more pressure, you can drop the arms out to the side. Another breath here. Then we'll slowly release. Release the balls. Come back and just notice how your shoulder blades are touching the ground now, how your middle back's touching the ground, neck, head, how that feels. And what is the quality of your breathing now? To deepen that release in the upper body, we'll come into our first restorative. So you'll need a blanket for this supported fish, which stretches open the chest and also the neck area. One yoga blanket folded first in this position, and then you fold it in half the long way to make a, a short bolster. And put the blanket in the middle of your mat, like smack in the middle. So there's real estate for your head, your shoulders. Your body is going to be on this, and your legs will be on the other end. So you can start by sitting on the bottom end. And you lower yourself down. So the heart stays on that edge. The top of the shoulders touch the floor. And then the arms are out to the sides. So it's a stretch through here, through the pecs. And the neck is long on the floor. And the arms can be wide to facilitate a deeper, more expansive breath. And once you have the position, you can notice just your natural breath here. The way your inhale expands through your ribs. The way your exhale allows your ribs to soften towards that blanket's edge. Continue to relax the jaw, the eyes here. And we're going to do a little subtle work to help deepen that release in the upper body. And how we're going to do that is by tracing a little circle along the edge of the teeth. And this comes from a movement system called Feldenkrais. So in Feldenkrais, they really emphasize moving without any pain, without any tension, and going really, really slowly. So we're going to trace so if you think about the edge of your upper teeth and the edge of your lower teeth as like a circle, we're just going to do the right side first. And you want to trace just the right side of your teeth edge really slowly and only in a range that doesn't cause any tension in your tongue. So you can start from the middle of the upper teeth and then trace it out to the right in a comfortable range, and then go down to the lower teeth and then move the tongue towards the center of your teeth, and then go back up to the right side or to the upper teeth. And you could do this like really, really super slow, maybe just 3 times. And then go in the other direction, start from the lower teeth and go up to the upper teeth on that right side. And if there's any pain, any tension in the jaw and the tongue, pause, make a smaller movement. Then after you've done those, 3 rounds in either direction, just relax and release your jaw and just feel any difference between the right side and the left side. Then we'll do the left side. So you can start from the upper teeth, going from center out to the left in a comfortable range for your tongue. So no straining, no tension. Three times in either direction. Nice and slow. And if you think you're going slowly, see if you can half your pace again. Whenever you're done with those semicircles with your tongue, release, and then notice if the left and the right side of your jaw um, feel any differently, and also into your neck. And last awareness here is just on your breath. The sense of your inhale expanding to the front and into the back of your heart. And take 3 more breaths like that, connecting to that heart breath. When you're ready to come out, you can just slowly roll over to one side and lie there on your side for a moment to release that back bend in your upper back. Just slowly come up. And we're going to take a forward fold as a counter pose. And I'm going to suggest a wide-legged forward fold. So you can have your legs wide. And you want to set yourself up so that your forehead is supported. So it could mean maybe blocks like this. It could be you could use the seat of your chair to support your forehead on. So supporting the forehead with some props. And in that way, the upper back is going in the opposite direction than where it was previously. So now there's a little bit of a flexion there, forward fold there. And you can soften whatever your forehead is resting on. So if the blocks feel like it's too hard, you can put your hand, you can put blankets. Just noticing how this particular shape feels the heart space. Here in the forward fold, can you sense how your inhale can expand more through your back body? And as you feel your inhale through your back body, uh, is the breath favoring one side of your back versus the other? And if there is a side that feels like it's a little bit more restricted in terms of movement, can you um, invite more movement into that side just with your intention, your awareness? And then on that exhalation, just let it become longer and smoother so that those phases of your breathing are roughly the same length. Take more breaths here in this forward fold. When you're ready to come out, you can come out one step at a time. We'll come into, so continuing with this theme of upper body, we're coming into a side bend, getting movement into the neck, shoulders. So you have a choice. If your back is feeling very stiff, you can do the side bend sequence without a bolster underneath your ribs. So the level of support underneath your side body could be nothing. It could be just one blanket. It could be a little bit higher. So we'll start side lying on the right side, and yogi's choice in terms of how much support is underneath the rib cage, the side of the ribs. So I'm going to try it today with just one blanket. I usually teach it with two blankets, but I'm wondering if one will feel good as well. So it really depends on your flexibility and what's going on today. Sometimes if there is like a lot of tension, maybe less of a side bend would be better. So you come down and your right shoulder is clear of that bolster if you have one. And you want to make sure your neck and your head are comfortable as well. So if you're up really high, you might have to support the head on something as well. Okay, but I'm low, so it's comfortable. And then knees are bent and stacked. And we're going to start by turning the head towards the floor. So there's a bit of elongation through the neck here. And then you can lift that left arm up towards the ceiling. And once the arm moves behind, turn your head, turn your chest towards the ceiling, and just explore reaching that right arm back or that left arm back as far as is comfortable. And then you can come back on your exhale to your side body. You can again choose to overturn in the neck, the head, keeping it nice and long. And then lead with your arm first. Let your arm reach back. And then follow with your head turn, with your middle back turning. And this can be inhale. And coming back, can be exhale. One more time, overturning that head, and I'm sliding that left hand further out to facilitate that. Then I'm reaching with the arm first, then following with my neck, my head, seeing if the repetition can improve your range. And then coming back to center. And then reaching, sliding this arm up this time to accentuate the stretch through your side body. And you could choose to stay here so that you're only on your side. You can choose to turn your chest to the ceiling so that there's a little back bend. And you could also choose to widen your arms to deepen that back bend. So your choice. Anywhere on the continuum here with the arm clock, basically. Could be just side bend, could be with a back bend element. Make sure that the left arm, wherever you are, is on the, touching the floor. It's not, having to keep it up. And then open up this side of your ribs with your breath. See if you can facilitate a little bit more movement, a little bit more expansion through the intercostals here. I'm even putting my bottom hand on the ribs to facilitate that. Maybe a little squeezing and touch. And then after you've spent some time focusing on the superficial tissues here, intend now for your breath to go into the lung on the side. And intend for your breath to go into the lower lobe of your lung on this top side. Take 2 more breaths here in the side bend. And then if you are in that back arch, turn onto your side and slide that arm forward. Take a pause first in side bend. And then when you're ready, we'll slowly press out of this first side. And we'll switch to the second side. So come on over to your side bend on the left. And again, the level of support, sometimes we have scoliosis, we have a little unevenness on one side versus the other. So you might even adjust the level of support here as needed for your body. And we're going to do that twisting motion first. So once you're down, slide the top hand further out to facilitate your head turning towards the floor more. And then on the inhale, lift that top arm. And then once the arm is behind you, turn the neck and turn the back towards that top arm. And then exhale, coming back. And then slide that hand out, let the head turn to the floor, and reach the arm up to the ceiling, back behind you, find your middle back twisting. One more time, slide that arm, rotate the neck, and then lift the arm. And follow with your eyes. Slowly exhale, coming back to center. And then trace a semicircle with your top fingers and let your head rest, or your arm rest on your head. You can be here. You can add in turning the chest towards the ceiling more. You can stretch the arm out to the side. Finding a comfortable place to hold in stillness. Take your breath into the back of your ribs on this right side, this top side. Can you encourage the muscles between your ribs to expand, to move more with your breath? And you can even put your hands here and touch and squeeze to get a little more mobility through these intercostals. And once you've spent some time just creating more space with the superficial layer, see if you can direct your breath into your lung on this side. And allow the lower back part of your lung to fill up more. And sense how when you're focusing on the lung, the breath just naturally becomes deeper, a little bit slower. Couple more breaths here with that connection to the lung, to the lower lobe of the lung. And we'll slowly, if you're in that a little bit of a twist, de-rotate, come out onto your side body. And just take a pause and side lying here. Slowly support ourselves out of side lying. See how we're doing on time. Okay. So for the last pose, we can revisit fish and then add in the layer of elevating the legs on a chair. So you can come back to the fish shape. So a little bit of that spinal support with a heart opener, and then you can raise your legs up on the chair to have an inversion effect. Pull my chair here so you can see it, and I want my legs to be more comfortable since it's a pretty hard surface. So I'm going to put a blanket on top of the chair. And it requires a little bit of measurement, so you want this edge to be underneath your heart and your shoulders to be down. So I'm going to guesstimate that I need to move this in more to fit that way, but I might be wrong. So we'll see. It's a little bit like Goldilocks. You have to adjust a little bit to make everything perfect. So we want to make sure that this doesn't happen, that the shoulders are just up like this, because sometimes that doesn't allow it to completely relax. So you want to swivel and move so that the top of the shoulders are completely down and supported. So when the upper body, like the neck muscles and all of that, feel that support, they can ungrip and release from their habit of overly contracting better. So when I moved forward, I feel like now my chair is too far away. So I'm just going to try to move my chair closer to my toes. So wiggle around until you get everything in the right place. And once you are able to stay in stillness, relax your eyes, relax your jaw. And we'll find the vertical axis of the breath here. So once you settle into the stillness, notice the part that's moving, which is breathing, and see if you can sense the natural movement of your breath down your spine into your sacrum. And as you trace the breath journey up and down your spine, with the inhale down, the exhale going up, Notice if there are, some places on the spine that's really easy to feel, some places where it's maybe a little foggy, a little hazy. Try to slow down for the places that might be harder to feel. Then come back to awareness of the breath in the ribs and see if you can feel the natural movement of your breath also expanding sideways. Notice the way that the breath also expands to the front and to the back. Front through the sternum, to the back, and to the back of the ribs. And once you've connected with that um, quality of your breath, imagine that your heart is breathing and it is expanding outwardly on the inhale, softening on that exhale. Then last piece here is coming back to your intention. Distill your intention into one healing essence. See if you can invoke that healing essence right now. Through this connection with heart center, letting yourself fully receive that quality. Yogi's choice. If you feel like you want to stay here for longer, you're welcome to stay. If you would like to transition out of this pose, draw your knees in towards your chest. And you can slowly drop the legs over to the side. And eventually for it, transition out into a sitting position at your own pace. And once you're in sitting, just check in on yourself again. Feel those movable aspects of yourself, so the quality of your physical body, quality of your breath, quality of your mind, your emotional body as well. And noticing how there's a part of you that can observe all of these movable, dynamic aspects. Can you turn your attention towards that source from where you are watching your body? Turn your attention towards the place where you can effortlessly feel the senses, effortlessly watch thought. Noticing what the source, the experience of it. So just this beingness, this presence, have a name, this spaciousness, beginning or an end. And can this spaciousness be separate from who you are? Meet hands together at the heart. Take a full breath to heart center, bowing your head to the light in me honors the light in me. Namaste.